you have to have a plan going into dry fire. Because what happens all too often, and I know I suffered from this early on when I wanted to get a little bit better, and I knew I needed a dry fire. I just didn't know what I was supposed to do.
Right.
And so day one, I may work on draws, and then I may work on a reload, and then maybe a tap rack or something. And then the next day, I may work on turn-in draws. And so nothing was consistent. And so you need to have a consistent plan. It's like working out.
Right.
You can't go in the gym today and say, I'm going to do curls, and then tomorrow I get there and maybe I'll bench press, and then the next day I'll just run, and then, you have no way to chart progress, and you don't have anything consistent where, hey, if I did curls every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 weeks from now, I can tell, hey, I started curling 15-pound weights, and now I'm curling 35, so you're getting better.
Right.
The same with this. You need to have a plan. You have a plan. I'm sure you follow.
Yeah. So I dry fire religiously a minimum of 3 days a week. I usually do it on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I go down. I do it for 45 minutes to an hour every time. I always start out with draw. I figure I just work my way up. So everything, being relative, I start with a draw. I start with hand placement. I come out of the holster. My next piece after that is going to good grip and presentation, getting sights on target. From there, I work reloads. And then once I have all of I'm starting to feel good with all of that, I start working on target transition, and then I start working on moving and shooting and moving around.
So and you've been doing that, so you have a plan now, and I don't know when you started doing this plan, but you've probably charted some of your progress. So 6 months ago, if you were still doing this plan, you could say, oh yeah, I was working at making it up 1 second draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you're like, hey, now I'm at a 0.6, 0.7, whatever it may be. You've charted that progress too, because you've picked a plan and you've stuck to it.
Right. And not to get ahead of it, because I know there's a whole nother segment that we're going to do on it, but with a timer. You need to, when you're doing that and you work your plan, you need to have a timer. You may not be timing everything, but you need to introduce that timer, because it like you said, like with lifting weights, if you're not charting your progress, then how do you know you're getting any better? I could sit there and dry fire all day long and do mag changes, but if I don't actually have it on a timer and I'm not watching it, which then again goes into also, I don't think we touched on it, but recording yourself.
Right.
I'm never going to know if I'm getting any better. It wouldn't make sense just to do that and then not have something to actually put that up against.
So that's video analysis, one of the 5 pillars.
Right. You need metrics.
And we'll go over that in a future episode, but we're recording ourselves dry fire. I'm recording myself live fire. Let's be honest, all these 5 pillars don't just equate to shooting. They equate to other stuff. I record myself deadlifting. I record myself squatting to make sure that I'm, getting everything squared away perfectly. You had talked about having your plan. I don't care. So I played baseball growing up, played through high school, and, every team that I ever played on, all the way down to Little League, all the way up to, high school, American Legion level, there was not a coach that said, hey, we're going to practice sometime, and when we get to practice, we're going to figure out what we're going to do. They all had a schedule. Even in Pee-wee leagues, right? We've got an hour for practice, let's say. All right, we're going to take 15 minutes, and we're going to field ground balls, and then we're going to take 15 minutes, and we're going to catch pop flies, and then we're going to take 30 minutes, and we're going to take batting practice.
Yep.
Right? It's all scheduled out. So you need to have the same level of scheduling or the same plan when you're doing your dry fire.
Right, it needs to be a routine.
Yeah,
it's a routine that you keep and you hold yourself accountable to.
Exactly.
And
complete episode available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app. New Green Ops podcast episodes available every Thursday. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the new content.